$357 for, oh yeah, there we go. Williams and Reed, that helps our community people too. Whiskey Myers, $943 with the party pit sold out. And then, we have general admission behind that and then reserved in section A. And then Black Hawk, $630. Which, honestly, I'm okay with that. We're just ramping up marketing pieces. We'll let Jen kind of plug in there just a little bit, maybe an update as we get to the end of my report. Speaking of ticket sales, and I wanted to address this before I forgot publicly, this, if you get the Daily Republic, this letter was written July 31st. I actually had not seen it. So if you hadn't, there was concern with the refund process of Johnny Rivers. So I wanted to publicly explain that to the board and see if you had any questions. Not all of that is accurate that's on here. I do want to mention, so Dennis Schlimkin is the writer. He came in yesterday to discuss this. We had an hour-long conversation. It was very good. I think his intent was that, this is not right, but we ended up talking for an hour, and he was very interesting, a lot of history about the Corn Palace. He was a decorator for 3 years, actually was working here when they put the new seats in the Corn Palace, and the slope seats, and he was the one who added the murals on the ends of the ball court. He actually did them personally himself. So we had a really good discussion. I was able to break down with him how this fee structure works, okay? And showed him he did receive a complete refund. So I checked his credit cards and the refunds. So his fees were completely refunded. He had not checked his refunds prior to writing the letter. So we went in, the amount that he purchased was refunded to him, which is a little unusual because our fees typically are not refunded. A ticket, if you come to the box office for Johnny Rivers, was $50. Then there was $3 processing and handling, okay? If you called in and you bought a Johnny Rivers ticket, it was $50, a reserve ticket, $3 processing, and then $2 if you want it mailed to you, okay? If you bought them online and had the credit card fees like that, then those were $5.79 fees, so we're $55.79. And I can, those at home cannot see that, but you will see this is one of the orders that was made, and you can see the tickets ordered and the fees off to the right, okay, purchased, and then you'll see down here that they were refunds made and the total of $111.58. So the same thing happens if we, someone paid cash at the box office, then they get a voucher from the city. 2 tickets bought at the box office would have been $53 each, $106. It would have been refunded $106. So my question is whether or not this warrants any kind of response. I did have a couple comments today. I went and spoke to the Lions Club and just about festival, which I appreciated, and it went very well, I thought. But they said, you should explain that because there's a lot of bad information out there. So I wanted to get that out publicly so if those are anybody are watching know that we recognize the letter. I had a very good conversation with him. Had we had that conversation prior to the phone call, and quite honestly, he may have called and I might have been out. Over the last 2 weeks, I've been out a few days. But I'm asking the board how you maybe want me to proceed.
I don't think people that wrote check got their fees back. I didn't.
For what, for 53?
Right. I only got 50 back.
Okay, I can check our vouchers too. Because I just did 2 today.
I got $600.
I just did 2 today. They were kind of outliers. Again, there's a little bit of transition with Nick leaving. They didn't have addresses, so when these tickets were sold, addresses were not collected. Tickets were sold, and you try to find out who that person is. And that was just, again, 3 different people selling tickets in the box office at the time, and so we had to track the people down. We didn't have an address for them. So we had 2 of those today that went in, and they received 106 for 2 tickets. But I can check on that.
And I don't care, I'm just saying that it should be the same for everybody.
Sure.
That's the only reason I'm bringing it up.
Once I was able to explain, here's the other thing that did happen, and shouldn't have. So there was an error on our part that I wasn't aware of. When someone, and he, this gentleman lives in Florida, and he bought the tickets online, but there's an option to have them at will call. Okay? Which in my mind I'm thinking, why would you want to do that? You know, you'd want those tickets on your phone or so you can print them. His intent was that I don't want to have to deal with them. I just want them at the concert and pick them up. Unbeknownst to me, they were sent to him, and he was upset that they were charged $2 for sending them. Well, I did investigate that, and he wasn't charged $2. The only way you're charged $2, that only option is when you buy them at the box office, when we're selling them, and we choose to mail. Then it adds $2 on. So what happened in his situation, our part-time person in the box office was running a report to all the tickets that were will calls, and she was doing that every Monday. Well, those that were local were put in the will call box. Those that were out of state, she put in the mail. But they were not charged. The $2 was not charged. So I've explained that to him in an email, and after he was here yesterday, because I didn't know a lot of this when he came, so I investigated all of that, and I replied to him. So so he was not charged the $2. So I just didn't know, there's a lot of things I could clear up here, but I also don't really typically get into a discussion about those things. But if you think I should, I will certainly do that.
Any further comment on what Doug mentioned? Do we need to respond to it, or has Doug handled it properly?
I have not heard one thing about it. I mean, I've read it in the paper, obviously, but I think as long as everything's the same, so if it's credit card or check or cash, I think we're fine.
Sure. And quite honestly, we had 600, almost 600 tickets sold for Johnny Rivers, so the low sales was not an issue at all there either. So E-Tix handled all of the credit cards. We did have an incident where a credit card had been hacked and it didn't exist any longer. We got a report on that from E-Tix. So in that situation, they cannot refund it, and we did a voucher.
If you buy tickets on StubHub or Ticketmaster, you don't get refunded for fees, do you? Just the actual ticket price.
Well,
But I don't know. I think we should be.
I'm not sure I've ever bought tickets and a show has been canceled. You know, I don't know how I got my fee. You have? Okay.
Old Dominion, I only got the base fee back.
Yeah.
That's what they say I'm getting refunded,
Right.
not the extra if I swim in Parker.
Oh, because of the weather, right? Is that what they?
Yeah, we got evacuated for one of the clouds and, you know, stuff.
If you think something warrants that, just, let me know. Otherwise, I was just going to leave that. We had a very good discussion. Quite honestly, I learned a lot, and he learned a lot, and it was very cordial. And I just wish we'd been able to make that communication beforehand. Then this would have not been printed. So
It's different too. We gave up $600 or 600 tickets for Johnny Rivers for $357
Right.
for Williams and Rhea, less ticket price.
And this is never good for the ticket office. I think, the misconception is that the city just collects fees, and those fees, E-Tix has fees, the credit card company has fees. We only have the $1 fee in there for handling that ticket. $2 goes to E-Tix for each of those. So I did explain that to him too. So, okay, we won't dwell on that any longer. We'll move on. Festival is coming up. I wanted to address the schedule. And this little poster, Jen had just a miniature of what's going to be out there. I gave those out to the Lions group today. If you wanted to take one for your office or office mates, it's kind of a nice little size to put in the office. I can email that to you. You could print your own, or we have several over here you can take. On the calendar, I'll kind of combine these two items just so you can kind of know. Roads are closing Tuesday morning. Vendors start to move in. That's including Gold Star Amusement. They have to be, they're supposed to be moved in by 4 o'clock that day on Tuesday. We're going to host the James Valley Community Center dance on Tuesday night. We did that last year. Of course, COVID, it was still a small group, but 100 people probably. She expects twice that at least this year. They run that event. We're simply hosting them. And they're also a city entity. And we benefit with concessions and bar and things like that. Starts at 7 o'clock. They're doing the tickets. They're doing some merchandise sales, things like that. It'll be a simple table and chair setup for our staff on Tuesday. Wednesday, the fair technically opens at 5 o'clock, so all of our other vendors have to be in by noon that day. Some will come in Wednesday morning. And that'll be new for me, but I was involved in that process last year of marking out the vendors. We are, at the direction of the City Council, extending further down 5th Street, so will be in front of the back 40 and of the scoreboard, with both food vendors and soft goods vendors down there. The donut guy will be down there. And what we're going to do is we're leaving the space in front of the chamber open. If you recall, we've put vendors kind of butt to butt right there, and that plaza area is a very nice area for our tourists to take pictures, and they really can't take pictures there when the festival's going on. And I think it behooves us to support those businesses there too. It's a good seating area where they can go over and sit in that little park. They can see the chamber gift shop there. So that allows us to push some food vendors down to 5th Street, which is what we'll do.
In the courtyard here, yeah.
The courtyard, correct, yes. Yeah, we will not be in front of the courtyard. And if you remember, Mitchell Christian School, Big Daddy's were all crunched together right in front of the Corn Palace. They couldn't get out very easily when it was time to leave on Sunday. So we're just spacing that out more. I don't think people have a problem walking an extra 50 feet to a vendor. They're going to check them out. So, for example, the spices guy, the guy Fieri guy that looks like, right? He's going to be down in that area as well. So, anyway, that'll open. And then in the plaza, we have no entertainment Wednesday night in the Corn Palace, but in the plaza, this Texas Jammers group that we had last year is going to perform on the stage. And they have about 30 people coming. They'll kind of take turns because they can't all fit on the stage. But vendors will be open, rides will be going at 5, and we've got some free entertainment in the plaza. Okay, and we've got some kids' activities set up in the plaza area. That's kind of a, if you will, a soft start. I'm going to jump just a little bit and bring in Gold Star Amusement. He called me on Saturday with some great concerns about his staffing. And I just reminded him last year they were short of us rides because it was COVID and things like that. Their issue is their South African workers that they get cannot work for them this year. And it's a concern in the industry, but either way, they've got staff that can get 14 of their 17 rides here, but they can't get them all here on Wednesday because not all of them can drive the trucks. So they're going to set up 13 or 14, and then they're going to go back to Owatonna, Minnesota, and bring the rest in on Wednesday for setup on Thursday. So we're going to be short 3 or 4 rides on Wednesday. I expressed my concern with that, and he said, I'm going to do my best. I offered to put him in touch with the Department of Labor, and it really wasn't about the workers here, it's getting the stuff here. So I told him to kind of keep me updated. I'll touch base with him next week again, just to see, so we're prepared. I said, obviously, he has to set them up so that we don't have to move things when he comes back in with rides on Wednesday. So, so that will be Wednesday, but we'll have a smaller number of rides Wednesday, which if there's a day to have that, that would be Wednesday, not Friday, Saturday, Sunday, which are our big days. They have been seeing about a 30% increase. Actually, they've been having some record sales on their rides. So he feels good about how it's going to go. We hope so too. Wednesday is the Williams and Ree show. That's a 7 o'clock show. We open, I'm sorry, Thursday. Yep, Thursday. Doors will open at 6. Something new's on at 7. We are going to have entertainment from 5:30 to 7 in the plaza, okay, with Billy Lurkin right before that show. The reason I printed the calendar for all of you is as you're thinking ahead, I'm going to ask for a board support during the concerts, and we would take spouses, friends, and I'll explain on Friday, you'll see Whiskey Myers. That's a 6:30 open, so we'll close the doors at 5, reopen at 6:30. It's a 7:30 show with Weston Frank. That's also Colonel football game, which means all of our part-time staff are either in band or going to the game or things like that. So we're going to be short in our concessions. And I'm looking for some volunteer help. We're going to keep it very simple, during all the concerts with only popcorn, candy, drinks. We won't do any hot food. We would allow hot food if someone wants to bring something from outside. Inside, we will allow that during the festival. Because that's a lot more work, and it slows the process down, and I'm short on staff for that night. We're good Thursday and Saturday. It's not an issue. The other days are not an issue, just Friday night. So as it gets a little closer and you're thinking, gosh, am I available? We would take anybody that's comfortable, and would train you. We'd have one of our folks run the register, but it might be filling popcorn bags, filling soda, putting lids on, pretty much that's it. Popcorn and soda. Candy, which is kind of a self-serve thing out front. So that's Friday, and that's going to be a big show. We certainly need 12 to 1,500 people, hopefully, for Whiskey Myers. And from what I've heard, it's going to be a wonderful show. I've seen a few folks here in the Corn Palace that have seen them, and had a Whiskey Myers shirt on. He said, oh my gosh, they need to be a headliner. So they were thrilled. They're coming. Saturday is a 7:30 show. The doors will open again at 6:30. We'll be closed for that hour and a half for finishing sound checks, things like that. We've got things in the plaza starting at noon that day. There's different things going on. The main ones are Steve Grube. He's the Pied Piper with the music. He does a presentation, and then he does a hands-on activity with kids in the plaza. And then Adam Pope will be playing. They played Friday night for the First Friday event. They are going to be coming through, and I'm going to have them play from 5:30 to 7 Saturday night. So that'll be a nice tune-up for that show, actually. Sunday, then, is our Cowboy Church. That's going to start at 10:30. This is going to be a wristband day. So I think, minimal help needed, but we'll be selling a wristband at the door for $10 for an all day. And that's Cowboy Church, Barefoot Becky from 1 to 4, and then the Jammers will come back and close from 5 to 7 on the stage. And that'll be table, chair seating all day for that. And then we'll have a dance floor open in the middle for polka. Of course, all the stuff going on outside that kind of lends itself to just running itself. I did note that the Sioux Empire Fair put a curfew on for juveniles last night. We did have an issue last year. We'll watch that, let our public safety know, whether that's something we can do, just their call or our call, I don't know. Hopefully we don't have any issues, but they obviously had some issues at the Sioux Empire Fair. So we will watch that. So as you look forward to that week, if you are available, we would use you. We have the bars covered, support with ticket taking. I think I'm in good shape covering the box office, because we're going to walk-in tickets and things like that. But those, that's a little faster skill level. We really just need folks to scan tickets, and then there's a minimal amount of ushering. I'm not hiring ushers. There's very few folks that can't find their seats that will be well marked. We only have the first show, which is going to be a smaller crowd, is the seats up front. The rest are party pit, standing general admission, and reserved section A, which are well marked and easy to find. So I just don't anticipate a lot of ushering issues. So it would be more about scanning tickets, answering a few questions. Where's the restroom? Where's the bar? That kind of thing. So.
How about on Wednesday, the exhibit, Judge?
Sure. That's a good thing. And I wanted to show you.
Are you hungry?
I wanted to show you that because you can win tickets, ride passes, and I wanted to show you, Ron, the coloring contest. So, so we're willing to make some concessions for board members. We have 3 levels. We have the beginner coloring page, the intermediate, and then here's the senior. This is kind of a big deal for crafters. So yeah, there we go.
Better start now.
Yeah. So we would love for you to participate. No, the whole book, in all seriousness, this is a fun event. We'll be getting this out via our social media And I'll just open it here quickly so you can see it. It's pretty self-explanatory. There's lots of categories. Corn crafts, photography, horticulture. This looks a little complicated, but it really isn't. And then this is the tags that they fill in. So I've asked those to be here by 5 p.m. on Wednesday, looking for a couple folks. Wednesday is a pretty, once we have the vendors going, I anticipate having a little bit of time, but I'd love to have a 2 to 3 board members to help sort that and go through, and then we'd have these on display Thursday then for the show.
I think what Ron really wants to know is who do you want to taste them and judge
Right,
them?
exactly.
Well, I have Ron on the list.
I believe several of us did
Last
that.
year, we had you and I and well,
Stacy?
Stacy.
I've done it every year.
I can take names now, or if you'd prefer to have
We
me.
were short last year. It took us a
We didn't
long
last year,
time.
did we?
Yeah.
Yep,
Oh, I
Yep.
don't
It
know.
took us a long
I
time.
did it.
And then the categories worked together and you
Yeah.
picked and then you was more down here.
so I will say that I'm a little more organized this year than last year. So we'll have these tags set up so we can kind of put them on the tables in the location so we don't have to sort quite as much when you come in. So they'll be coming in throughout the day and after school. A lot of them come in after school.
The more judges you have, the quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's kind of fun, and there is some tasting involved and afterwards.
There is a pie division.
Yeah.
There is. Cupcakes,
Wasn't the year they brought the pie.
cookies, pies.
Oh, but there is, I see it.
Yep.
We didn't let
No,
them take
but
it home.
somebody
though.
brought a pie, and there wasn't even a pie
Right.
division that year. Like, okay.
We didn't let them take it home.
Yeah, say, Doug, explain, what is the pie, is with the 506B, J, D?
Sure, that's the, and that's pretty,
Category of-
yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory right in here,
Oh,
actually.
okay.
Yep, so when they read the book, it makes sense to them.
Okay.
But
Because it
you
didn't
need
make
make
sense
sense-
to the judges,
Makes sense.
so I'm just saying.
There
Okay,
was a couple categories, we just had to eat it all, so we didn't have to judge it.
Oh, B, beginning, J is junior, S is senior.
Yep.
Okay.
so you've got the number, the digit, and then for the level, so, within each category. And we won't have all categories filled in, if there's things we combine, we will. We don't fill them all, but I've had several people reach out with their 4-H exhibits and want to bring them here, or produce, those kinds of things, so.
Do you have it out here, they're gonna drop it off, or?
We're gonna, at the box office, and we'll bring them right in here again. Yep, and then we'll judge them here, and then I'll display them in the lobby on the south end. So we'll have them on display Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And they pick them up Sunday, 5 o'clock, I think.
What's left?
Yep.
Yeah.
Nancy
So-
and I would be happy to help them.
Okay,
Me too.
all right. Awesome.
We'll make fun of Ron.
What time?
What time are we doing
Yeah, what
this?
time?
5:30.
5:30.
5:30, yep.
Before that, kind of organizing them.
Well, that would be wonderful. Gene, if you're,
Any time that day.
you know what, why don't you just come in about maybe 3 o'clock? Because after school is when a lot of them come in that day, and they bring them, parents come to pick up kids from school, and they bring them here then.
Yeah, I'm gonna be gone for most of the
Okay.
festival, so I'm glad to help that.
That'd be great. Ron, Nancy, Sue, and Gene. Gene will come in a little early, otherwise we would judge at 5:30.
Steve's the-
And then we award those for the seniors. We have concert tickets. For the others, we can have concert tickets or ride passes, and for the juniors, we have ride passes. So, super. Again, we can discuss that. We don't have to be online to do that. As far as when you can help, I'll just follow up with an email. I just wanted to give the calendar to you, see if you had any questions. Jen, do you want to jump in about the poster and, because I know we put posters out for the pre-Sturgis party, and we got them into the manufacturers' break rooms, and you get in front of a large number of people. So we're going to take that same approach. I'm going to have the part-timers take these posters around and get them in lots of locations.
Yes, the poster was just updated once again this morning, so if you have anyone else, please, the cutoff is like 20 minutes from now. But then we'll have a final poster. But we have already had a few things out there, including there's been a full page ad in the Daily Republic in partnership with the baseball tournament last weekend. Our postcards will go out this week, so we're sending out 15,000 postcards again to area folks that have on there this, and there's a backside as well. Our big social media contest will start this week and run through Sunday the 22nd. I should know that date by heart. The winners will receive 10 free tickets and then a $100 gift card to the Back 40, the Depot, or Ruby Tuesday. 3 different ones is what the whole contest entails. And last year, we just nailed it out of the park. So hopefully we'll have just as much success this year running that contest. Radio ads have started on all of our local stations here in town. They will run through Festival Week. We have some Doug's going on, and we're working with some of the artists to have them do a little interview on all the stations as well. Some of them are already scheduled, some of them are in the works. We're doing a little bit of digital retargeting, such as if someone Googles Sioux Empire Fair, we want our ad to be up. So we did a little bit of that here right now. And then the week prior, when it comes to the state fair. Print marketing, I talked about 100 of these posters will be printed very, very soon to get up, like Doug and I were talking about. But thank you to those of you who did reach out to sponsors and got them secured. That was helpful. That was probably the hardest part. In-town digital billboards will go up here by the end of this week. Radio ads I talked about, and then we'll have a few ads in the Dealer Republic, as well as all of the added value things from our calendar events and whatnot. We did add the QR code new this year because that is super easy to change. It is on all of our marketing materials. So when Williams & Reed was announced, that was an easy change online. That QR code was already on a poster, so easy as that. If you've never used a QR code, try it. It's fabulous. And this one actually goes to the mitchellsd.com/events page because there's a lot more details on there. Is where this one goes now. Any questions? And I will add, Doug, all of that free entertainment on the plaza stages of the times that you have actually narrowed down. That's helpful.
Super.
Passports to Fun are on sale. You can buy a voucher and pick it up Wednesday.
Yes.
Or Thursday or
Yep.
Friday.
So I'd been trying to reach Gold Star a little bit, and I think they're just a little frazzled, maybe behind, because we had our bracelets last year, a week beforehand. I hadn't gotten them, so I reached out and hadn't heard anything. Finally calls me Saturday, but it wasn't about that. It was about his concern getting drivers. So I said, I've got to have these bracelets. So they're not going to do the passports where they take the pictures. They're going to do it like last year, where they get a voucher, and it's $49 now, $54 after that. And then they take the voucher to the ticket booth, and they get their passport or their bracelet then. And then the daytime ones, same thing. So we have our sponsors. Last year we didn't really have these, but Bernini has asked for a whole bunch of passes, both bracelets and full festival passes, and as has Trail King. So that's great. And I've got all those tickets comped and recorded to those vendors that they're receiving, and working on those things right now. Jen mentioned this QR code, and I did this at the Lions presentation today.
It worked, right?
And it absolutely worked just fine. So if you haven't done it, you should take your camera on your phone and turn it on. And instead of taking a picture or a selfie, you simply put it close. It finds it just like that, sends you a little thing, and you click on it, and it says, hey, here's the Corn Palace Festival. And all the information and pictures and things like that are right there. I brought this picture up because this was put on today in the front window of the Corn Palace. Our other one had gotten scuffed up. And so this says free admission. That was on the old one. The logo is new, the corn is new, and the live here, that actually looks crooked. Is that crooked on the window, or is it?
I think your window's crooked.
Oh, anyway, I tried this to say, is that going to work? Because it's got the little holes in it, the perforated, and it works. So that's on the front window. So that's the box office is right behind that N and P right there. So pretty cool stuff. Take a look at that sometime. Any questions for Jen? You know, I'm here in State Fair concerts. I was here in Sioux Empire stuff, so our stuff will start to show up, and hopefully the phone rings. And 75% of our tickets are all online, so we're not getting a ton of calls. But by the way, in our box office, we haven't missed a beat. That first week after Nick and Betty left was a little rough for Doug. But thank goodness we have a couple young ladies that are doing a fabulous job. They're part-time and they've been accurate and are able to get that work done that needs to get done with some assistance from me. But they are doing most of that. They're handling the ticket sales well. They're answering questions well. But first couple days were not so smooth, but we got through that.
One thing you might want to say too, for those of you that are used to scanning tickets, with the change to e-tickets, it's a much better thing that they have on their phone for you to scan, where before people were pulling up the email confirmation. Now it's just like Ticketmaster. You get a little ticket stub in your Apple Wallet, so it should be a lot easier when we're scanning people coming through the doors now too.
And we have new scanners from e-tick. So I think Nick had talked about that. It was really a no-cost printers, scanners update, as long as we would contract with them for a few years. So everything worked really well. We used them at the dance competition. We had no issues. Most are going to come in with that phone with their ticket on there. So pretty slick.
So if I were to find a friend or a relative that wanted to volunteer, contact you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And I will just put them on a list and know that they're going to show up, and we will have a task for them that's not too daunting.
Okay.
Things like even Sunday morning or Sunday all day, I really need to have someone out front selling wristbands. And $10, so it's really easy, and we give them as much pop and popcorn as they can eat and drink. So, and of course, access to the entertainment too that's in the building. So, okay, any questions for Jen or anything so far?
I got a question, Doug.
Yes.
Do we have a way of tracking how many, if anybody goes to all of the shows or two of the shows or
So,
anything like that?
yes, e-text allows us, and I'll be digging into this a little bit, but we want to start sending them some reminders, Whiskey Myers next week, that kind of thing, invite a friend, or there's all kinds of messages you can send. For everybody we've collected, and I've tried to do the best we can to collect all that information, but I knew early on with Johnny Rivers, we did not do that, and that was an error. So we try to collect first name, last name, address, cell number, and email. And there's an option to say, is it okay if we collect your email? So, do you share it? No, we don't share it, but we will send an email out to everybody we have, and we send a text out to everybody we have. So we can pull all kinds of information out of this system. As far as all three shows, I don't know the answer to that, but it has lots of reports. Lots of reports.
The question, the reason why I bring that up, and this might be an every year question for you. I know we've talked about paying one fee to get into all the shows. I just came from the Quad Cities, and that's what they did for their fair, like this Vampire Fair, is you paid $90 and you got into all their shows, which was Jason Aldean, Old Dominion, and Pitbull. $90. If they're actually the night after Sioux Falls, they're in Davenport, Iowa.
So that's 3 nights?
Yeah, it was. I think it was a Tuesday, Friday, Saturday for that week, and they're like a.
But you're basically getting it for the price of 2 shows. You're getting 3 if you can, if you want them.
So
Probably.
I don't know. We've ever talked about that. I know
Sure.
when Stacy was on here, she always said, why can't we have, staggered prices if you go to all 3 shows or.
Well,
There was no option. I just wanted to go to Old Dominion on Friday, and they said, no, it's $90. I'm like, I just want to go to Old Dominion. Nope, $90. Although I missed Jason Aldean, I'm not going to Pitbull. So that's how they worked it.
I guess here's what we would do, moving forward. That's certainly a question. I will tell you that, I literally had my first or second phone call with the e-text rep. He's wonderful. But I just hadn't gotten into the reporting a lot other than the financials and this issue with the will call. So everything is new every time I go in and say, oh yeah, let's go dig around and see if we can find it. So it's very good reporting options. But I think that, when we do our review in September, let's say, I can find out if that's something we can do. I know we can. I know we can sell 1 ticket for all 3 shows. My first thought would be, I don't want to lose somebody because they just want to go to 1 show.
Yeah,
But-
I don't want people to pick.
But-
I only got enough money to go to 1 show, so I'm going to pick Whiskey Myers or whatever.
But
I'd love to go
Brown
to.
County allows
Brown
you
County
to
does
do-
that too.
Okay.
Yeah, you can either
Okay.
buy 1 or you can buy the whole.
that seems very reasonable, and that is obviously very possible and easy to do within e-text. No doubt
That
about
was the
that.
other question is Brown County Fair, if you've seen their lineup, but it's amazing. I mean, I don't know how they do it. I know it's routing and what?
It always is.
It always is, and I don't know if because it's a routing and they just hit the jackpot that time of year, which is now, right? Or
I
when
think
is
they
it?
have some, they must have a subsidy.
They are this weekend coming up, right?
No, it's like
Next
next
week.
20th.
Yeah, because now
When
it's
is
the swim. or-
Oh, swim part, yeah, yes, yeah, yep. Well, that, as a board, we can, our entertainment selection starts, and we've already got some ideas. We want to do maybe a newer rock versus 50s, 60s, move to that 70s, 80s, which I think was the intent of our vote. It's just that the options didn't come back very favorable when you're only 6 weeks out. So now that we're, a year out, absolutely. The intent was to announce the show.
Right, our goal is to have one for next year.
Yes, yep.
This year, right? We didn't do that.
I did ask that question, actually, of Romeo, but never really got anything back from them, so.
That might
because-
be tough, is it not? I mean.
Well, we're not a large show that dictates a lot of routing, for one thing, when you do multiple shows, or maybe you have a venue that you can put, 5 or 10,000 or 15,000 people in, you start to, develop some of that. But maybe Brown County does some things like that, I don't know.
They do have big sponsors, I know, out there. The big entertainment, the grandstand.
Makes a difference,
entertainment.
yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So, anyway, something to visit and chew on going forward. I think we could maybe, if we need to revamp it or want to revamp it, there's some options. out there.
Well, and this, well, it's been a few years, I guess, that oldie show, if you will, was moved to Thursday instead of Friday, Saturday. So, and again, keep in mind, this is 2020 Entertainment Part 2,
Yeah.
other with Williams and Reed because of a cancellation. The intent was just to run that. So, I know some of you felt that we could have gone a different direction, but now will be our chance for next year. Absolutely. Getting on that early is good for us. And I think, keep in mind, in 2019, you had the entertainment quite early. You had Johnny Rivers in October, that year. And then, in fact, I think everyone was added before I even started. If not, we were just did the final touch-up. So those are all things we can do. Just keep it in our September notes.
Yeah, point to her.
Ask about 2022 entertainment. Yeah, well, and I've been in touch. I did ask Romeo Entertainment that question. Hey, who's coming through? We would love to announce one, and especially in that 80s, 70s, 80s rock, and get that on board. I just saw Kid Rock pictures from,
Sturgis.
now keep in mind, you've got a city of 500,000 people or whatever, and it was pretty amazing. So I don't know that but something like that we could absolutely do.
Kansas is gonna be out and dead by now.
Yep.
I know that was,
And of course, you saw the price on that, they're not normally that, but in short notice, they came back. It was just, yep, quite high, so. Anything else question-wise? Basically, it was about schedule. I feel good about tickets with our advertising coming out right now. Our box office is staffed appropriately. Little sketchy with our concessions with school starting in college, but we got a plan that will work. So we will have coverage in the box office the whole time when school starts. And then festival week, we're same thing. We've got kids whose schedule allow us to use them during the day too, which is favorable. I won't ask board members to work the box office, but unless you want to. But it's more about the nights of concerts. Went through our maintenance schedule today. We feel good about our coverage there. We do have our decorators that we used this year or are using. We can use them during festival as well for some odds and ends things. We've contracted with Dakota Wesleyan women's basketball to do garbage in the morning. We'll use some of our staff in the evening, early evening. So basically about 6 o'clock, they'll go empty things, and then they'll be done. We're going to hire them for an hour a day on Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
and the girls come in the morning.
They'll come in the morning, correct, early. Yep, and then our staff washes things down as part of their normal cleanup between 6 and 10, and then we're down to one person really between 10 and 3 during the day, but there's just a lot of sound check and setup. But as far as setup for the concerts, they're quite easy this year when we have a lot of standing space and general admission, so.
One complaint that we usually hear is the tables are dirty.
Out front?
People get done eating and
Sure.
leave, and you're looking for a place and there's stuff all over.
We are, just a couple notes, I'm going to add a tent to the plaza area. Since we're moving the food down a little bit, we'll have a tent over the west half of the green space. So people can come to the shade structure, sit under a tent in tables We'll have some standing tables and we'll have some picnic tables there. So that'll be a shaded space and of course of rain too. We want to try to pull as many as we can into that plaza area. And then otherwise picnic tables, you know, in the main street like normal. But we will do our best to keep those clean. I mean, I don't think, again, those are things that our part-time staff can do. You know, we're not so crashed at concessions that we can't pull someone out there to go do that. So, if you have other notes like that, I mean, as we go along, the emails will kind of come fast and furious here in the next 3 weeks. So again, keep in mind, since we're not meeting as a board, simply just reply to me. We shouldn't have to vote on anything, you know, anything like that over the next 3 weeks. But I will stay in touch with you about anything that you can help with as far as concert goes. And if you've got someone that you can bring with you. We have the shirts that Steve, if you haven't picked up your shirt yet and ordered one, I'm guessing even at this point, you probably could say, oh, I forgot. But not, he has those ready. Wore mine, it was very comfortable. So thanks for doing that.
Yep. How about workers for like runners or drivers? You need that this year?
You know, Johnny Rivers was the only one that required transportation from the airport and hotel and things like that. So as of right now,
You still need a runner though.
yeah, everybody's coming in. We've got vehicles secured with Vernite. I'll know more about that once the vans start to reach out and this and that. But they're all arriving via bus. They're not, as of right now, we don't have them in the dressing rooms. They're going to just come off their bus and perform. So it's pretty easy. We're not doing any food for them. They've all opted just to kind of do their own thing, so which makes it easy for us. And we'll have a hospitality room, all the beverages, things like that. But it's just easier, and that's not part of the contract with this group. So very simple. We don't have an airport pickup at all. So all of the with our partnership with Hampton, all the entertainers that need rooms are staying at the Hampton, and I gave them the suggestion, but again, part of their contract was nope, rooms are on us type of deal. So I didn't have to do a lot of that, but that is all in place. I had that booked a long time ago. So yeah, I feel pretty good about that. The vendor setup will be new for me, but Jeff and I got a plan for that. So I don't anticipate any issues.
Wait a minute, Jeff Smith.
Oh, Jeff Hansen, yes,
Yeah, okay.
Jeff Hansen. But if anytime you've got questions or you run into someone who has questions, send them my way. You know, if I'm not email or voicemail, because I am out in the box office quite a bit now too. And again, well, if you're interested in some of these, I will email this to you. I can do that, right, Jen? And if you
Yeah,
want
just
to,
don't do it right this
yeah,
second.
we'll get a new one. I will follow up with the minutes and a poster. So, but,
Star 40% that we received.
yeah, it's the same for the next 3 years. I'd have to, I should know that, but
It's close to that.
I just submitted all the vouchers for all of the entertainment yesterday, and it's close to that. But they are very confident they're going to do well this year. They've been doing well.
That's my point, is I think we're going to have record sales on that. People are going to come to the Midway. So we want to make sure that we're very prepared of how we're going to get those passes and things.
Oh, okay, okay.
So make sure that we've got that stacked appropriately.
Have they done like a Saturday? I'm talking before festival, so like next Saturday or the Saturday the 21st. Did they do Saturday a big blowout for passports or vouchers?
I feel like it's always during the work hours.
We didn't last.
It's hard to get down here and get them ahead of time.
Is that something? I mean, that's not something I'd be opposed to, certainly. You know, we could get a little plug on the radio. I could do an ad. You know, social media obviously is free to do for the most part, and get it out there. So if you see those things, if you're not subscribing to the Corn Palace announcements, you know, I'd ask you to do that, and then you can kind of share those folks you need that are wondering. But
Because Jeff, it seemed like those long lines were, because at 5 o'clock, the box office was
Right.
closed, and so you had to go down and stand in line for 3 blocks to get through the carnival ticket.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because everyone came after work and got their kids after school activities, and then, an hour later, you were through
So-
It's always horrible,
so-
especially now with the voucher thing.
I know.
So are you thinking maybe extended, so maybe Monday,
Well, I don't think it
Tuesday?
really matters, because if you're buying a voucher, you still gotta go get in line at 5 o'clock, so there's where the issue is.
So maybe, I mean,
Did they not let us print the cards like we used to?
the pictures,
Yeah.
they aren't using the passports.
That's why.
Yeah.
That's why it's a nightmare.
Yeah, they're using the
Even
wristbands.
if we remind Gold Star that we want to
Sure.
make sure that it's appropriately staffed or as best we can, we know it's a little thin, but.
Because we'll have an idea of how many vouchers we've given out, like,
Right.
we've given out 300 already. They'll all come at 5 o'clock on Wednesday.
Well, yeah, especially when they maximize rides. They,
Or 4:45.
Yep.
Yeah.
How does it take to hand them a wristband now?
Well, they have to have the pass.
Right,
Yeah.
I think that in the past, they gave you
Yep.
a wrist, a little different than a
Yep.
photograph and
Right.
yep,
a card.
yep. And I think that's why they,
That's just
Fairly fast.
I think that's why they went to that. It was
Aren't
faster.
they still doing the
They're,
pictures?
they're gonna do the wristband.
Wristband.
Oh,
Yep.
that'll make it a lot.
Yeah, that's what they did last year. And it was more of a COVID thing, less contact, and that's why they're doing it again.
Oh, that's
Yep.
probably gonna be a lot faster then.
So, but I will do that. I'll ask that question.
Just the way you can get it, just remind people, and I like the fact that, we can blast it out, maybe even on Monday night of council, we can remind people, or
Okay.
maybe.
It is on the radio already.
Yeah. If we get it in the media, that would be good.
Have you sold any
No,
as of yesterday?
that is a, today.
Today.
Our midway has been
I don't
slowly
either.
decreasing over the years, so it'll be interesting to see, because, that brings in the majority of, well, I shouldn't say majority, but a large amount of our revenue comes through the midway.
Well, and yes, we did take note of that, because last year I didn't market that at all, and this year we broke it up into 3 pieces, like food vendors and free entertainment, midway rides themselves, and then festival entertainment. So we have 3 different avenues that we're working towards, not just show. There's so much more to do, including free stuff, than just that. So we talked about specialty vendors, food vendors, plaza stage, and then one whole section is just on Gold Star.
I will, because I actually have to talk to her tomorrow, because the problem is the, last year we were able to get those wristbands early, and we could sell those. And then after, whatever the day was, Tuesday at noon or something, they had to get them from Gold Star. They haven't sent them to us this year. So that's why I was trying to follow up. It's a little, they're a little behind. But I've been in touch with them, so it's just, they have to just get it done.
All right, anything else for Doug? Any public input? Nobody here? We don't have anything for executive session?
I do not.
Okay, I guess with that, we need a motion to adjourn. Jean,
Second gen.
second Jen. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carried, meeting is adjourned.
Yes.
But maybe if you want to put together a little bit of a grid, the holes that we need,
Oh.
and maybe.
Okay.
Oh, I never even noticed that.
Would you think maybe in an email or maybe as a calendar document? That works. Okay. 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 Perfect. I will put it on the grid, like a little spreadsheet type of thing. Okay.
Say Doug? I've been bullied, so put me down to the 5:34 regulars.
I got him in, Doug.
I waited till we adjourned before I said it was bullying.
Are you gonna do
I know, we couldn't fit it in, I said,
sign
take it
up
off,
sheet or
it's fine.
something?
That's what Jeff was just talking about.
I'll send it out.
Me on the other postcard,
People can fill in or just email me and I can.
And then.
I don't even want to know if it's spelled wrong.
I would
It's
be
spelled wrong
running
on
for
the
the
postcard.
actual event starting Friday, but if you can help, that would be call during the week after. I don't.
He just, Doug said, text out the advertising.